Hey everybody, I'm Adam with the Edge Church, and today I get to talk to you all about the promise that Mary received from God's messenger Gabriel. And this is all in lieu of Advent, which is the 30 days leading up to Jesus' birth. And so I think most of us know the story of Mary's encounter with Gabriel. Just a quick rundown on it. Basically, Gabriel appears to her and says, "Greetings, Mary. You are highly favored. You are to be the mother of the Son of God, of Jesus. These are some of the things he's going to do." And then he kind of seals that conversation off with, anything is possible through God, which is really cool. So, when I read this story, the first thing that comes to mind is, I think about what it looked like for Mary to walk that promise out and kind of how God set that up for her. And so after thinking about it, I think the first thing that she would have had to have done, her first step in walking out that promise would be to tell Joseph about the encounter she just had with Gabriel, and what they talked about, and of course the fact that she's pregnant. And then there's that other fact that her and Joseph hadn't actually been married yet. So you got to imagine, that was probably real heavy on her mind and on her heart, is having to tell that to him. And so I think it's cool though, because she told him about it, and she obviously knew her fiance, because he actually, it says in scripture, it talks about how he thought about divorcing her quietly and secretly, but God sent another messenger to him to kind of tell him, hey, this is what's happening, go here, go there, and kind of gave him next steps. So it was cool to see how God covered Mary in that. And there was a lot of other things along the way that Mary would have had to have done to walk out that promise, to go where God was telling him to go to Egypt. Herod's chasing you guys, go here, do this. And then there's that whole 33 years up until Jesus died on the cross, and Jesus 30 years from the time he started his ministry. So there was a lot of things that she would have had to have done to walk that out. And I always think about these scenarios. Once God gives us a promise, the first thing that he does is he'll put us in these scenarios, or you could call it a test. And what he's doing is he's putting us in these situations that force us to trust him for that promise. And there's sort of almost like a fork in the road. You have two choices. You can either trust God for the promise that he gave you, or you can partner with the lie, which is usually the opposite of the promise. And so just a quick little part of my testimony. About, I want to say, a year and a half, 2 years ago, Audra and I started hearing from God that we were going to be pregnant. And this was no small thing for us, because in the past, we've struggled with several miscarries. So this was a pretty heavy topic. And I think for the most part, it was one of those things where, for me personally, I had definitely been partnering with the lie, which is, when it comes to making kids and being pregnant, we're flawed in some kind of way. And so walking that out for us was interesting, because one of the very first things, probably a month into the first trimester, that happened was Audra was at the house, and she tripped over a rug and fell on her stomach. A couple weeks later, one of the girls dropped something on her stomach. And then, of course, we went and got it checked out at the doctor, and everything was fine. But, I think that God uses these situations to, like I said, to weed out unbelief and mistrust. He uses the promise specifically to do that, as we're walking that promise out. So hopefully you guys receive something from this. I'm hoping that this is something you guys think about, and just if God has been promising you guys things, don't be discouraged if it seems like it's taken a while for the promise to come to fruition. Just be patient, honor the process, honor what he's trying to do in the meantime as you're walking it out, and as the promises come into life. And just love him in it and trust him in it. It's just a great way to build faith. And so anyway, I love you guys. Merry Christmas, and talk to you soon.